All right. This is Alison Hicks. She was arrested by sheriff's deputies and spent some time at Tent City, and she wrote about it, and there's a docudrama coming out about Sheriff Joe and Tent City.
Hello?
Is this Alison Hicks?
This is Alison Hicks.
Is this Alison Hicks of that new documentary, Backspin?
Yes, it is. Backspin, my movie.
Alison Hicks, welcome to The Lou Show.
I'm very excited to be on The Lou Show.
Alison, what is Backspin all about?
Backspin is about how I was falsely arrested in Maricopa County with Sheriff Joe's deputies.
Well, a lot of people have made the claim that they were falsely arrested. Can you prove you were falsely arrested?
Public records proves it. I fought my way through the system over 3 years and won. I was exonerated and expunged. So,
Did you win a settlement? I mean, did they give you your money back if the arrest was false?
the one thing is, you cannot sue City Hall. You can't sue a judge. You can't sue a public defender. You can't sue a prosecutor. So I did not win a settlement. The only way I won was being an activist, and that's where I went out and won. I continued to do my movie and promote against Sheriff Joe and his deputy and talk about what they did. I talk about the public defender and going to the media and helping others.
Here's another approach. There are a lot of people who are arrested, and I would say that there's probably a good percentage of them that are falsely arrested, just like you, but they don't turn around and make a documentary of it. What made you decide that it was important to make a documentary about your experiences?
First and foremost, he ruined my career. I was a tennis pro for over 25 years. There was no excuse to take away my tennis career. I love teaching tennis to children. It was a child abuse case. They never once cared about my child. Maricopa County were the child abusers. I never deserved to go to Tent City.
I thought you were arrested because of an argument you had with a boyfriend, and the boyfriend then called in to 911 to say, I just had an argument with my girlfriend and I think she's suicidal. Describe the conditions in which you were arrested.
I had no idea why I was arrested in the first place. My daughter was safe at the neighbor's house where I dropped her off. I had no idea that my boyfriend, I just did not pick up the cell phone. He was concerned. He made a concerned phone call. When the deputies came to my house, they mentioned the word suicide. And there was no sign of suicide at the time. So then my daughter was safe with the neighbors. They saw my big house. It was Deputy Anthony Rogers. He called for backup. He saw my SUV. He saw dollar signs. He saw the backup guy did see pictures of Johnny Carson, Murph Griffin. He saw that I had some publicity in my house.
They thought you were a notable person, a person of means, that if they arrest you, that at least it'll help put a little extra money in the coffers of the county.
That's what I feel. When Anthony Rogers went over to pick up my daughter at the neighbor's where she was, a stone throw away, less than 50 feet, he brought her over. She was safe. He called me a spoiled little rich brat. You'll have fun down at Madison Street Jail. Never once in trouble, not even a parking ticket. I was floored. At the time, I didn't even know who called 911. And he put me in the car, and he handcuffed me in front of my daughter, and I spent what I thought was the worst night of my life. The judge let me go. I went on teaching tennis. My daughter was never taken away by CPS, and all of a sudden, I have a new case. The deputy sheriff, Anthony Rogers, went to the grand jury and told a completely different story. The grand jury indicted me. And that's how I ended up being back into the system.
Well, this is the deputy that actually came to your house. he came to your house in Anthem. He saw that you were a person of means. Do you suppose that Rogers took a liberty in arresting you, believing that they would at least get some money into the system at your expense?
I think so. I think anybody that has that kind of charge, power, money, control, that's how Sheriff Joe runs his sheriffs. Mm-hmm. That's how he hires the sheriffs. Mm-hmm. He lives by that.
You were physically abused.
I was.
Uh-huh. And then you found conditions appalling in Tent City.
I almost died. There's cockroaches, bugs, mice, dead mice in Lamo bags. No medical conditions. It's freezing cold in the winter. It's a desert, 143 degrees. The showers are freezing cold.
Well, needless to say, people have died in Tent City.
It's terrible. It is the worst thing.
And so when you got out, when you got free, you became an activist. And the first thing you did was you wrote this book, Backspin.
Yes, I did.
And Backspin is about to leap off the pages and become a real live docudrama. Can you tell me a little bit about the impending production and release of this new docudrama from your book, Backspin? Who would you like to play your part?
I always wanted Reese Witherspoon, and I almost had her, and I was so close, and she did the Johnny Cash movie. I was right in her office. She is a great actress.
And who would you like to play Sheriff Joe?
If it's a big name, maybe John Travolta. I don't know. I did want Jeff Daniels as the lead lawyer. I've talked to Jeff about it. He was one of my big ones.
And has Sheriff Joe expressed an interest in playing his part in this docudrama, Backspin?
I'd like Sheriff Joe to do a cameo. I have asked him on Facebook, but I don't know if that's the real Sheriff Joe. I think he's such a media hound. He would do anything. Uh-huh. You never know with Sheriff Joe. You know, hey, put the camera in front of me. I'll do it. He might just do it. You never know.
Alison, is getting rid of Sheriff Joe the only answer?
I think getting rid of Sheriff Joe is the only answer. I think we need to get rid of Sheriff Joe for several reasons. And I think Phoenix, Maricopa would all agree with me that it would be a very happy change. There needs to be a change. He's an embarrassment around the country, not just in Phoenix, not just in Michigan. He is just talked about, not in a good way. I still can't believe, and I shake my head. I get the question all the time. How does he get away with this inhumanity? And when we get somebody else in there, people are finally going to realize and say, wow, or when my major motion picture comes out and people can see the vision of what I was telling you earlier. I'm looking very forward to seeing the new sheriff come into play. I think it'll make Arizona a very better place.
And when do you expect Backspin will come out?
The docudrama Backspin 2012 and the new teaser that we were talking about will be released within the next week.
Where can they find this teaser, and where can people find you?
They can find me at www.backspinmymovie.com. Mm-hmm. And you can always check me out on Alison A. Hicks on Google. I can also be found on Facebook as Alison A. Hicks. The prison system is becoming very overpopulated, and it's become a big business. I hope that Americans realize that it does ruin lives. We need to be aware that anybody could slip into a system and your whole life could be ruined in the blink of an eye. It can really ruin an entire family's life, friends' lives, and it trickles off. And others are banking off it. The prison system is making a ton of money off it. We need to make that aware to the people that don't know about it, that it's a big business.
Backspin, mymovie.com. Alison A. Hicks, I want to thank you for appearing today on The Lou Show.
Thank you, Lou, for having me, and I love being on your show, and I look forward to seeing you soon.
Completed 6 cases against Ohio, successfully, 5 of them successfully. We collected about $22 million for our clients. All 6 of those cases were death cases. In every one of those cases, we caught them destroying evidence or creating evidence. Surviving the winters and surviving the summers, and it's fathers and mothers and sons and daughters of people who live in this county.
We believed that we did everything correct. Subsequently, I found that we had not.
Strapped him up with chains and bent him forward, held him down until he died. It's just how easy it is to become a felon in this state if you live in Maricopa County. I mean, all it takes is a snap of a finger.
You're caught up in the criminal justice system. You are in for the hassle of your life.
I don't think you should come here.
You're not safe.
You're not safe because we understand you're going to be arrested.
We will find a way to have you arrested.
Thank you, Alison Hicks of Backspin, and we're not done with our examination of the prison system.